What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, today is episode 105, and today we're going to take a look at investing in Microsoft for the long term and how potentially this stock, if I was to choose only one tech stock to invest in, it would potentially be Microsoft. So, Microsoft, as you guys know, is in the business of creating software primarily. It is also now, I would say, ahead of every major tech company in terms of artificial intelligence, so AI. Microsoft has been a leader by partnering and investing in a project called OpenAI. OpenAI is single-handedly right now the most dominant force in terms of AI as it relates to business and pretty much just harnessing the power of data to actually provide results. So Microsoft is really huge on that front. Now we have Microsoft pulled up here inside of Robinhood, and as you guys can see, for the last month, it is up 3%. If we look at it over 3 months, it is actually up 4.55% year to date. So from January until now, we're in May, it's up 12%. And last year, it is up 34%. And in the last 5 years, it is actually up 233%. Max time gains on Microsoft is 763%. Now, Microsoft to me is, like I said, one of the key stocks in terms of tech. I think probably it's one of the most important stocks simply for the fact that, like, if you look at, technology as a house, I would say, Microsoft is like the floor that it's built on. It also, to an extent, sets the ceiling for where tech is going to go. Right now, we see that with AI, but as far as the floor, Microsoft, as a software company, has the platform that run Microsoft's system, which is, Microsoft Windows. And, you know, they're not losing market share anytime soon. I don't see it happening. You have a bunch of companies that came along. Apple tried, failed. Google tried. Google has been successful with, like, phones, but as far as computers, the Android system on computers is nowhere as popular as Microsoft. It is used by, I would say, almost every business system. Microsoft is also integrating themselves heavily into cloud, and they are definitely one of the top players in that area. As far as gaming is concerned, Microsoft also is a dominant force in console gaming as well as computer gaming. I would say in console gaming, they're probably number two to PlayStation, but in computer gaming, they're definitely number one. And then recently, Microsoft has decided to open their own Microsoft store. So you know how you have the Android store, then you have the Apple store. Well, Microsoft says, hey, you know what? We're going to come out with our own store, and they are going to start selling their own games. So that means they're heavily trying to move into the space that's dominated primarily, I would say, by Android and then Apple. So Microsoft, for me, it's a very huge part of my portfolio. Also, if you take a look at Microsoft, it's also a huge part of a lot of, you know, large investors. So when you look at it, like a lot of these top super investors, Microsoft is usually the dominant position. If you go to the largest tech ETF in the world right now, which is QQQ, when you go to the top, the QQQ website, the top 10 holdings, Microsoft is number one. It has 8.61% of the QQQ. Look, Apple is close, Nvidia, and you have Google all the way over here, Meta all the way over here. And that, again, like I said, is because they're dominant. Microsoft is dominant in that regard. Microsoft is also dominant because they're always innovating. And, if they are not innovating or they realize that they're behind in something else, they'll go ahead and make an acquisition. So Microsoft for me just seems to be always growing. Like I said, it's probably the biggest position in my portfolio. And it's something that I'm always buying in whenever there's a dip or there's an average. Now is actually a pretty good time to buy in, like I said, because I do believe once a lot of these projects get going and open AI starts to be integrated in a lot of systems and a lot more companies invest in it, I think Microsoft is only going to grow more. Microsoft is also one of the only tech companies, right, that actually gives you a dividend. And that's significant because usually when a company starts paying dividend, it just means that the company is not growing. So we're going to go ahead now and just look at Microsoft in the charts, and then I'll go over some key points. All right, so here we have Microsoft pulled up on the daily chart actually. And as you guys can see, we have an ascending channel here for Microsoft. So touches the top of the channel here, comes back down, goes back up, comes all the way up, consolidates a little bit, comes back down, goes back up, and comes back down, goes up, boom, 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 and then it breaks out of the channel. So it breaks out of the channel, and this is the point where it actually starts to go back up. So if you got in here, you'd be nice. I've just been averaging and buying as soon as I see any kind of major dip. I'm buying in. I'm also auto investing in this stock. So every week, a portion of funds is actually pulled from my account to purchase this stock as well. So we'll see here that it starts to go back up, and right now it's right around here. So I'd say like 422, 421, somewhere around this range. But notice here that from here to here, it's kind of like forming a line. So we don't know if it's going to respect this line right here and come back down some more, or it's going to break through this line and continue. But if it does, it's going to go back up to around this point here, which was around like 430. So it does have a lot of room to go. Now you could play this both ways on Microsoft. You could buy in and get stocks, or you could get something like a leap. Leaps are a little bit more expensive, but as far as a leap, you could get a call, say about a year or 2 years out, betting on the fact that it will go up, and you're almost certain that leap will be profitable. Now, the problem with big companies like Microsoft and Google, occasionally they'll have lawsuits that come out saying, they're getting sued, like antitrust lawsuits. That's because they're so dominant, so they'll get sued. It happens all the time to Google, happens to Apple, and it does happen to Microsoft as well. So usually when those lawsuits come out, that's when the big dip will be. I'm not sure exactly why it dipped down here, but I'm guaranteeing you it's almost something like that. It's probably some merger that they were trying to do and it didn't go through. Just things like that, because when companies like this are so massive, they're always considering the fact that, hey, is this company a monopoly? And at one point, Microsoft was considered a monopoly, and it was kind of forced to be broken up by the government. All right. But Microsoft, again, like I said, is on the uptrend. If you're looking for a good long-term tech stock, I'll put my money on this one. All right. And that's it for the video today, guys. I just wanted to give you my insights on Microsoft and where I think it's going to go. If you found this information useful, please go ahead and subscribe. I make new videos like this every day. Go ahead and like this video and also share it with a family member or a friend. Thanks again for watching the video. I do appreciate it. Y'all stay safe and have a blessed day. Peace.